Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our opening show of the season for the Galen Snyder Show here as we're getting ready for the season to unfold this weekend. Things will be a little bit different as we're going to have, of course, the teams now realigned all over again, and the Suburban One League National Conference going to be a little tougher than it has been again in the last couple of years. I'm Vince Reed. Of course, this is Galen Snyder along with us, and of course my engineer Mike Samsel as well. And we're brought to you by ARIA Health. ARIA Health is our neighbor right here in Bucks County. They can take care of you in fine fashion. Well, Coach, we're looking at a new season, in a lot of ways brand new for you, because you're back to the, might say back to the old a little bit, and the fact of the realignment of the Suburban One League National Conference, but it's going to make for a lot of interesting games every weekend.
Yeah, it's back to the way it was about 6 years ago. They based it, the league affiliation on size, and they switched the geography for, like I said, about a 6-year period. But now we're back to size, and just so happens that for the most part, it also equates with, pretty much some of the better teams that have been in the Suburban One over the course of that time.
Yeah, when the people, look at the games from week to week, they're going to know a lot of these teams have been in the playoffs at one time or another. That's going to be a little different this year because a couple of them might be left out because of the fact that you've got so many good teams, and of course they can't afford too many losses.
Sure. I mean, you're looking, I think out of the 8 teams, I noticed that about 7 out of the 8, if you really check the playoffs for the last 5-6 years, have had multiple trips to the playoffs. And, that's not going to be the case for it. I mean, I would think you will end up with 3 teams that make the playoffs, potentially 4.
Yeah.
But the way we'll all be playing and knocking each other off potentially, it could be a situation where some teams that normally would have made it, just don't get in.
Yeah, be on the outside looking in, and so we got to really work hard this year to be able to make it into the playoffs this year for the districts of Pennsylvania. As far as it goes with your ball club, there's a couple of things you've got going that are nice pluses for you, and one is the fact that you got 3 mainstay linemen who are going to be back for you in that front row, and of course you've had to in past years fill in as many as maybe 4 of them out of the 5, and you've done a great job of that. This year you've got to fill in just the 2, but you got to be happy with the 3 who are coming back. They showed well, every one of them last year, and they should be even better with all that experience.
Well, Sam Raywood and Austin O'Neill are 3-year starters for us, so that's kind of rare, especially on the line, on the offensive line, to have 3 players with that, well, at least 2 players with that type of experience. Now, Mason Horiet is actually in his 2nd-year starting for us. He's our center, and again, Mason, the 3 of them all together give us not only a big physical presence, all good football players, hard-nosed, hard-working. Can move people off the line of scrimmage, but from a mental standpoint, the 3 of them all work together, and the line calls and the blocking schemes. So it's a nice setup when you have that type of situation coming into a season.
I know you had Austin certainly was a guy who last year played extremely well for you at a tackle position, and I talked to him after you had mentioned to me about the fact that he's going to be a quick guard, a pulling guard, and you must have a lot of feeling behind you that this is the guy you need for that position, because that's one of the key positions on that line, is to have somebody quick and fast to open those holes for those backs.
Yeah, your guards have to be really good players in the wing too. They have to be able to move on the run, execute blocks on the run. There's a lot of different types of ankle blocking that they have to do. They lead plays that are out around the end. So you really need a special type of player for that. And Austin's always been, an extremely good drive blocker from his tackle position. But we saw in him the athleticism that he can play guard. And when you do take someone the size of Austin and put him at guard, if he is mobile enough to do it, and then you really have a force there. Usually our guards are a little smaller than that, and they're mobile guys, but we feel like Austin's mobile enough to play the position, and he'll bring quite the impact as he actually gets to pull and move and go hit somebody out on the edge.
And of course, we're being brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors right here in Bucks County as well, located right there on Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne. And we are part of the Galen Snyder Show, the first one of the season so far for us. When we take a look right now we'll continue with the offensive side. Chuck Snorway, a tremendous year last year, over 1,500 yards rushing, 22 touchdowns on the ground, 24 overall, catching a couple of long ones for TDs as well. He had a tremendous year, there's no doubt about that. He'll be headed to Rutgers next year, where they'll be playing big time starting this year. They're playing the Big Ten, they're in the Big Ten now. And when you look at what he has done and what they have back, when it comes to the backs back here, if they get any kind of blocking up front, these are guys that are really going to be tough. Not only that, Coach, but you have some backups besides the guys you're going to start.
Sure. I mean, I think it starts with Charles. Charles is a 4-year starter for us at the running back position, and he really came into his own last year. He ran for close to 1,500 yards, had over 20 touchdowns rushing, and he actually averaged, I believe, double digits yards per carry. It was up around 10 yards a carry. So Charles is a force at the high school level with his speed and his toughness and physicality, and his ability to catch the ball also out of the backfield. He's a total package from that standpoint, and of course that's why he's getting he's made a verbal commitment to a Big Ten school. Victor Delgado gets a chance to come over and play some fullback for us. Vic's a 2-year starter, and this will be his 3rd year actually starting on the defensive side as a safety, as a strong safety, but now he's getting a chance to run the ball as well. And Raheem Thompson is also back. Raheem started for us last year at halfback and had over 800 yards. And we're going to try to keep everybody fresh in the backfield, and we've actually taken Dalton Hose, who's a junior, and he started last year for us on the defensive side. At linebacker, he's going to be actually working into the backfield and getting some carries.
When you look at it and you see what the offensive side has, you did have, of course, your quarterback transfer, and he went on to Maryland. And the biggest thing was, of course, to fill in with somebody at that position. And when you look at that, the biggest thing is they're going to have to do is get accustomed to the fact that the speed of the game and also getting the experience of the game for your quarterbacks. What do you think right now you have as far as that? Is there maybe a couple you might be depending on throughout the course of the season?
Well, we're looking right now going into the first game against Council Rock South. We're going to be having Robert Daly play quarterback for us. Robert is a starter for us last year as a sophomore on the defensive side at corner, and Robert's a really good athlete. He, is a kid who came up out of the middle school as a 3-sport type of athlete, and Robert has some of those qualities that you look for when you look for a wing T quarterback. As far as being able to have good ball handling skills, good footwork, some leadership ability, ability to run and pass. So that's what we're getting this week against Rock South with Robert.
All right, and of course we're being brought to you, as we said, by Aria Health throughout the course of the season as they bring you the Galen Snyder Show. And let's talk a little bit on the defensive side. One of the things about last year's team was the fact that on defense you were really young. By young, I mean two guys who were inexperienced. I think they came along, certainly the way I saw it, a lot quicker than I expected. And I think with that, you have an opportunity this year to have a good experienced ball club in there on defense, which, of course, last year I said, I didn't know how long it was going to take these guys, but like I mentioned, it seemed to come along quick.
Yeah, we've played pretty good defense the last few years. Last year being, one where we had a lot of young players, as you would say, and they're all, a number of them have returned to us this year. And, we're introducing some even more, younger players in place of the seniors that we lost. So we're excited about the defense not only for this year, but for next year as well. Of course, all the focus is on this year and on this game with Council Rock. And I think we're starting about 7 underclassmen still, to give you an idea how young we were last year on the defensive side.
Well, you got as ends, you got here Joe Maurer, he played last year. You got Jack Kenny, Nick Paragano, and Jeremiah Wells as the tackles across the front four. What's your feeling about the front line of the defense?
Well, Jack Kenny played defensive tackle for us last year. He's moving out to defensive end this year. We like Jack. Jack does a real nice job, plays great technique. He'll be what we call our anchor, or strong side end. Joe Maurer, who's got he's got a lot of speed coming off the edge and a high motor as far as getting to the ball, being physical. He'll be playing our end position, so we'll be lining up a lot of times away from the other team's tight end. He'll be on the split end side. And tackles, Jeremiah Wells has a nice get up off the ball, and he's going to play the nose position. And Nick Paragon, who's a big, powerful kid who's going to be playing our tackle position. Nick's a junior, but he's a kid who really likes the weight room, and he's over a 400-pound bench press guy even as a junior. So, with those guys, and we have some other guys who will be working in. You're going to see us in our nickel pass situations. We'll be bringing some other guys to rush off the end, maybe bumping down some of the ends to the tackle. So we're going to have, we'll be playing a couple extra guys on there too. We have some other guys that we like as well.
I know one thing, when I look at it, I really do like the core of linebackers that you have this year. And you've got Dalton Hose and Greg Lichtenstein on the outside. You've got your son there, Luke Snyder, who missed quite a bit of the season last year with an injury, and Jordan O'Neill. These guys seem to be guys who are really in a position you'd like to have some guys who have been through the wars and really can hit and really can get there. And I think this is a good group when it comes to the linebacking core.
Well, I'll tell you, and then another guy who's going to be playing there, actually for Council Rock South, he's playing free safety for us, and that's Victor Delgado. Victor's always been an outside linebacker. With our free safety and quarterback positions sort of in flux, we have been counting on Daly to play free safety, which would have freed up Delgado to get some more time at outside linebacker, which you may see down the line for us. But again, if you throw Delgado in that outside and that linebacker mix as well, you really got quite a
right.
But no, all those guys, Hose is very experienced. O'Neill is very experienced. They started for us last year. Luke only started a couple games for us last year because of injury, but he also, played for us and played some significant time for us as a freshman. So experience-wise, and obviously Delgado when he's back there, there's a lot of. Now the new guy, Greg Lichtenstein, is we've been real pleased with so far. He's also a junior. Gregory's a real smart player, and he's also a tough kid who likes to run the ball as well.
Yeah, and of course when you come to the corners, you've got Joe Strong and Anthony Pitt, and these are guys that really made their presence felt. I know they did a nice job for you last year, and Pitt, I can recall really, I think, following guys deep and staying right with them all the time to break up some passes. Certainly had himself a good season as things went along.
Mm-hmm. And then both those guys are our starters. They both did a nice job for us last year. And Joe Strong was, coming off an injury too last year, but he came back, played late in the season. And we always have Charles Norway.
Right.
Charles is a very good corner as well that we can use at times when we need him. If we play some teams that like to spread you out, we only use 3 corners. Those are the situations we can always put Charles there as well.
As you mentioned, Victor Delgado, for this game, Victor's going to be a free safety for you here for this ball game, but he has the potential to be moved around. We know that, and you'll be able to do that with him throughout the course of the season. And of course, coming up to the opening game of the year, maybe a little disappointment was the Council Rock and South Ball Club, but they're looking to see if they can bounce back here. What do you think of this ball club this year?
Well, to me, they still look like a young football team. They were young last year, real young, and I think there were a lot of sophomores on the team last year playing. This year, I see a lot of juniors playing for them, and but I do know that they have some talented kids. I know they have a great coaching staff. I think Coach Battison Vinny does a tremendous job with that program. And, as evidence, I think they just a few years ago, they made a trip to the district finals. I know they're in the semifinals the year before that. So I think, they're going to get them turned around. It's just a matter of time.
All right, we're going to be back with more of the Galen Snyder Show in just a moment.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
I'm Vince Reed, back again with Galen Snyder as we get the season underway here, as we're just moments away from opening things up. Be in Newtown, of course, at the Council Rock North Stadium is where Council Rock South also plays, and of course we're taking on the Golden Hawks of Council Rock South in the opening game of the season so far. When you look at this one, coaches, one thing you know about Vince Bedison is he likes to run the football. He likes to really come at you and run the ball. So I would think that that's one of the primary things that you have played defensively with your group, is the fact that you got to be ready for these guys. They like to haul it.
Oh yeah, and it's not just you have to play physical. We went against Wood last week, and they like to run the ball, but it's a different style of running. It's a lot of power football. Rock South, you have to defend the option. They like to run the midline option. They like to run the triple option veer. So you have to defend those things, and that goes back to Coach Bedison's father, Dick Bedison,
right,
who used to run some of those things anyway. One of the things different this year is they used to supplement their option game with a lot of old wishbone power plays. They're not doing that this year. Actually, what we've seen so far in their scrimmages is they're actually supplementing their options with some wing tee themselves. So we saw some buck sweeps, some traps, some waggle, some belly downs, some things like that. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting. When you looked at them and you saw them, how do they line up size-wise with your ball club?
They're smaller than we are. Of course, I think other than Wood, probably a lot of teams are going to be smaller than us. They're smaller, but it's not always the size that matters. It's how tenacious the players are. So I feel like they're going to come out and they're going to give us their best effort. I know, matter of fact, I know they will. They have nothing to lose, everything to gain in this game. Like I said, I think they're a young team, so I think the coaches are playing us, saying, hey, just keep getting better each week, and this is week one. You go out and give Pennsbury your best shot, and see what happens.
Well, it's good to see too that the fact that when things were realigned, of course, Council Rock South now they'll be in the Continental part of the Suburban 1 League this year, a different league. But it's nice to see the Council Rock South and also Council Rock North decided that they would still keep it going here and be able to play you for those games that you have prior to the season opening with the league.
Well, I think it's good for both schools. It's good for the players. Players know one another. It's good for the communities. It's nice to be able to, we're going to be going up to Council Rock, driving up to Newtown, first and third weeks. And then, of course, next year they'll just drive to Fairless Hill. It's a nice short trip for the out-of-league games, and short trip for your fans. And I just think it's good that, both coaching staffs and administrations, stepped up and made it happen.
All right, very good. So we're looking forward to a really good season. As we said, things are realigned a little bit throughout the Suburban 1 League this year. And of course, the really big schools are all together this time, bunched together there in the Suburban 1 League National Conference, where Pennsbury is one of those ball clubs. We're looking for a good season coming up, and we can't wait for it to get underway in just a couple of minutes from now. I want to let you know, of course, we're brought to you by ARIA Health on Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne. And for my head coach right here, who's going to be doing this show each and every week with me, I want to thank him, as well as we get ready for the opening of the season. Galen Snyder Show, and I'm Vince Reed.